Get a napkin.
Okay. Okay, I'm gonna stop then.
You're stopping it?
Oh, we're live.
Oh,
Hi,
say hello.
hi everybody. Welcome to Stories on Sunday. We're just getting set up here. There we are. All right.
Right. Hey, sorry. So we're coming today with like a different idea.
Do you want to set your timer?
Yeah, we can. We're going to be a little more freeform today because just life is like complicated, you know. I had my mother-in-law this week in the hospital. Then all of a sudden my dad today had to go. But everything is fine. Everything works itself out in the end. But I find myself a lot of times sad for no reason. So based on a poem that I just came up with 5 minutes ago practically, I want to do an art piece where I've already even sketched out the face, and I want to have a place where I could just display my feelings. So I don't know, as I go along, if BeeDee wants to just walk us through meditation, if you just want to walk us through.
Yeah. Well, I think I titled this episode 14. Can you believe it? 14.
No.
As getting in touch with your inner artist. You know, how often do we have thoughts and feelings that we just kind of push aside? You know, and today you had a poem inside that you just
had
let
to get
out.
I had to get it out.
And how many of us have poems inside that we don't let out?
And stories. Everybody has a story.
Yeah.
No matter how you think your story is more important than the next person, or whatever the case may be, or not important, because, you know, again, your reality is your reality. I was talking to somebody recently, a family member, and I was like, oh, you gotta think things could always be worse. And that person said to me, look, I don't really care what anybody else is going through. This is my reality. So I don't care what you tell me. It's not gonna change my mind. And if you think about it, it makes sense. It makes sense. What you're going through right now, to you, is a hard thing. And that's how you envision it. I mean, is it kind of terrible that he, and I have to say it's a he, told me, no matter what you tell me, you're not going to change my mind? He's going through a grieving process right now. So
yeah, and everyone does that differently.
The approach is kind of like, don't try to change my mind right now. Don't try to change my mind. So, I heard him. I try to give him as much advice as I could from my perspective. I said, look, from my perspective, again, you need to try to focus on the positive.
Yes.
And
it always is beneficial to focus on the positive.
Don't you think?
Yes. The more you focus on the negative, the universe says yes.
I say you're going to stay stuck there.
Yeah.
But he didn't want to hear it. So I said, okay, right now, I guess you can't.
Sometimes you have to sit in it. Like I like to say, sometimes you have to sit in the dark until you can see. You know, and if you have ever been in a dark room, you just wait a few minutes and then you can start to see.
Oh my God,
in the dark.
That's so deep what you just said right now. Isn't that incredible? That is life right now. What you just said is life right now.
Right?
You sit there and you're like, I can't see, and all of a sudden, there it is.
You can see, yeah.
There it is. Well, what I'm doing right now is, I don't know if you realize it, but I'm not, it's almost like crazy painting. Does that make sense?
Yes.
I'm letting just the ink go. I'm letting me get my emotions out, de-stressing. I don't want to think too much. It's almost like
it just watching you said, give me a pen, pencil, give me paper, something now. I'm like, okay. So it's almost as if it's, like a bubbling up of a geyser or a volcano. It just bubbles up, and you have to have that release. And once you do,
I feel better.
You can breathe again.
I feel better.
Yeah.
And my thing is art. That's
yes.
for me. That's for me. For other people, it's other things. But I like to kind of get lost in this. And I've been lately very inspired again with, I used to do a lot when I was younger, poems. And that gives you some little calmness. Let me turn off the volume of my phone, because then all of a sudden it's going to go off. It's going to throw me off. But I love the freedom that the art gives me to create, and it gives me an outlet, and a lot of people lack that. So my situation with this person that I was talking to is that person doesn't have any other way of letting things out.
Right. That's a challenge. What do you do when you don't have a way to let out your feelings?
Right.
A lot of times
he needs a hobby.
Well, yes, but a lot of times it comes out wrong. You blame people around you for things that it's not their fault because you don't have anywhere else to put it. So putting it on paper is genius.
Well,
and not holding it in, just letting it out and honoring that. How often do you have thoughts or feeling or people, myself included, thoughts and feelings that we just don't even listen to or pay attention to? And once you pay attention to it, it's a lesson. It tells you something.
There's some clarity. Clarity comes into play, and it's like, wow, changing your perspective is very important.
So when you wrote down the poem, is this the picture you had in your head, or is it something that you had seen that inspired you?
I saw something like this. It has nothing to do with what I'm doing, okay? A lot of times you just need inspiration. So I go online, I look at Pinterest, I look at other artists, and what is it, how it speaks to me, the darkness, the light, and then I just put my own twist on it. I want her to be lost. I don't want very sharp lines. I want her to feel, I want to convey the feeling that he gave me. It's almost like I don't know how to explain it, almost like you're lost, but like he said, I know that things will change, and I know my perspective will change, but right now, you can't change my mind. You can't. This is how I feel right now. And I said, hey, all I did was listen, because a lot of times you can't. You just have to be there for that person, right?
Yep.
And that's all I did. I said, listen, I think that you need to change your perspective a little bit.
Always good to change it.
And think a little differently, and hopefully you'll be able to.
Because sometimes when you're in that state, you feel like things won't change. You feel like this is going to be this way always, and it's not.
And that's kind of what he said.
Yeah.
He said, for now, this is what it is, and I don't care. And you're so angry sometimes that you can't see beyond that.
No, you can't.
And it's so sad, because I really wanted to try to help him gain clarity.
And sometimes just listening is help enough.
Well, the conversation ended that you and I have a special relationship, and I'm gonna take what you said to heart. And I guess I did my job. I mean, that was good enough. I took it. That was good enough for me,
You never know what words or what actions will really help somebody.
Yep. I think I made a difference. I mean,
well, the important thing is how were you after the conversation? A lot of times it's like you can't help anyone else until you help yourself. And you feel like you did a good job.
Well, listen, I had been contemplating for a while to call him, because I know what he was going through. And something just told me, don't do it, until the day that I said, I'm just going to do it.
You listened to yourself.
I think he wasn't ready to hear anything from me. And so I'm kind of glad I didn't call before then.
Right.
As it is, it wasn't the best conversation. But I think hearing me call and reach out to him, and maybe
sometimes
he felt
that's
better.
it. Sometimes that's all you need.
I'm hoping he felt better. I felt better after talking to him. I said, well, I think I reached out to him just a little bit enough to make him think, maybe I need to loosen up a bit. And again, I think a lot of times men in particular have a hard time with things not going the way they planned them to. Everybody.
Well, change is hard.
Am I being sexist to everybody? I guess Maybe I'm being a little sexist, but sometimes they take things a little stronger than we do as women. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong.
I don't know. I think that everyone has their own style of dealing with difficult situations.
Yes.
And every time it's different. Hopefully you learn tools and tricks, and you have someone that has a good ear just to listen.
I feel like I provided something for him, you know.
Nice. I just have to say, this is so nothing you've ever painted.
You wanna go ahead and read the poem, just so people know where my inspiration came from?
Sure. Let me get it.
See if you can understand my chicken scratch, because I wrote it really fast and really frantic.
So sometimes I feel sad. Sometimes sometimes I am blue. But to change it up, I think of something new. The hope of tomorrow brightens up my day, so now I sit and contemplate, knowing good times will come my way. Changing my perspective and clearing my mind is never a waste of time. Truer words have not been said.
I think that pretty much sums up how I was feeling, how I feel today, because I've been through my own SHIB. I don't want to use bad words, but we're all going through stuff.
Yeah, and what I love about this poem is that it goes from sad to hopeful, all in just a few lines.
Because that's all we could do. I think that the last thing you lose in life is your faith. And there has to be hope that things are going to get better, that tomorrow brings a new, or else what's the point in living if you think you should give up, right?
Right. But
I'm assuming you don't have a mental problem. I'm assuming everybody has mental problems, by the way. I don't care who you are, everybody has a mental problem. I think the way you approach it has a lot to do with, as long as you don't have an issue where, suicide. I mean, I'm talking just normal, daily
to day being a human being.
Exactly.
On this earth.
I think everybody struggles daily, whether it be intense struggle, whether it be simple struggles. But
yeah, and I think we're in a time of struggle. Being with everything that's happened in the last few years, it's different. We've never experienced anything like this before. And I feel like it's a new equilibrium you have to find.
I agree with that.
Wow, she is definitely intense.
This is kind of what I wanted to do. I just wanted to paint and just let go. A lot of times, if you're painting something that requires a lot of finessing and stuff, you kind of lose the feeling. I said, hurry up, turn on the camera, hurry up, let me write down this poem, let me get my feelings out, let me just explore what I'm thinking right now, because
it's definitely different than the others. I mean, the other paintings and meditations we've done are very relaxing, and this is kind of frenetic. It's kind of, let me just get it on paper.
And I'm not,
and it looks very different than the usual. And you're not really thinking, you're just getting it out.
I'm just getting it out.
Sometimes that's just the goal. It doesn't matter. Just get it out.
It's a little bit like me. Just a little bit like me. I didn't give her blonde hair, but but it's me. It's me trying to make sense of whatever's around me,
Yes.
And so, going along the way, I think I'm gonna do a little more poem writing, a little more loose and relaxed. I'm never gonna let go of my, I like to paint like a lot of whimsical stuff. I'm never gonna let go of that. But doing this is for me, very therapeutic.
Agreed. And I think listening to your inner artist, your inner poet, whatever your inner voice is saying, you have to honor that. And how many of us don't? So this is like an opportunity to breathe, pause, and shift, and let it out.
Again, that person said to me, "You're not going to change my mind," and I said, "I'm not here to change your mind. I just want you to be able to listen." And I was hoping to give him a different perspective. Whether or not you realize it, you're taking that in.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely. It might take some time, and you never know when they'll let it in, but a lot of people might not listen to it then, but maybe down the road, it's like, oh, wow, I remember that.
You have to have that epiphany on your own.
Yes.
Nobody can teach you that.
Wow. that looks fantastic.
I don't think it translates very well to the camera, but I'll bring it back
I
up
think
to the
it
camera.
does.
Yeah?
It looks great from here.
And give her a little shadow in her eye.
I can kind of relate to the poetry. I used to, for a whole year, I wrote a haiku every day, a haiku that would describe my day as like a journal
Like
exercise.
a journal. Yeah.
And it was incredibly therapeutic. You had to sum up your day in just a few lines.
I used to love to do, when I was younger, the diary.
Yep. That's also really incredibly therapeutic.
I got away from that years ago. And every once in a while now, it comes out in poems. So I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
Let me bring it up to the camera real quick. Oh, see?
Wow.
There's 15 minutes. Just 15 minutes for us to be able to reflect. 15 minutes to just take in what life provides.
Yeah. Look at that. Art, and feeling a little bit better.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Please remember to like and subscribe and support our channel. We're always trying to bring you, something new so that
Right.
you could cope with life.
And if you have any recommendations of what you want to see, what kind of art or meditation you want,
Let us
send us-
know.
yeah.
Drop a comment in the comment section. And nothing. Hope you have a blessed Sunday. Thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah,
and
have a great week.
weekend.
Yeah.
Week.
Yeah.
Whatever's left of your weekend and week. So let's close with our
I think we're okay. We'll close and
with our closing line.
okay.
What do they call that? A catchphrase?
Catchphrase.
It's not a catchphrase. It's our
It's
tagline.
our tagline, right?
All right, everyone. Stay focused,
stay
stay
centered,
centered, and stay creative. Bye, guys.